Well, we're in summertime. The flowers are in bloom, and the best flowers you can get are the ones you can eat. Let's do zucchini flowers. Okay, so the first step to this is you got to clean them. So if you're lucky enough to have access to something like a restaurant depot or a produce company, you can buy them year round. Otherwise, you either have to grow them or you have to make friends with somebody who grows them. Regardless, they got to be clean. So we have these little things here. I don't know what they're called, but they got to come off because they're really tough and really hard. So we pull those off, and inside of here is the little stamen of the flower. And you want to go ahead and you want to pull that out. Number one, because it's full of pollen and it's kind of bitter. And number two, because if you eat it, you're going to get your mouth all yellow and you're going to look ridiculous. So we've got these all cleaned here, and you can run them under a little water, especially if you're growing them, because there's these little yellow and black bugs who love to crawl inside there. And obviously you want to get rid of those. So we've got some zucchini flowers all nice and clean here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start on the batter that we're going to use to batter these. So in this bowl, I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And to that, I'm going to add about a half a cup or so of fresh grated Romano cheese. We're going to put a couple of nice solid pinches of sea salt in there. We're going to do a little white pepper. And I prefer white because I just don't want to see the black specks in there. It's a little OCD of me, but that's okay. We're going to do a little fresh parsley in there. We are going to do 1 whole egg. Crack that right in there. And we're going to do the rest with warm water. And you want to add enough water in here to make kind of like a thick pancake batter. You're just going to go a little at a time. I've got about 2 cups in here, so we'll see what that ends up to be. Best case scenario, it's best to do this batter the day before. And the reason is because you want that flour and cheese to kind of ferment together, and that's going to help you get them browner and crispier and even a little more flavorful. But if you don't have that kind of time, that's fine. You can do it day of. So it looks like we are going to use 2 cups of water. So that's 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of water, half a cup of Romano, 1 egg, salt, white pepper, and parsley. We're going to mix this up. We're going to get all our lumps out. And then don't be afraid to taste for salt. It's not going to hurt you. We're good. We're good. Last bit of that water. Okay, and that's the batter. And now we're just going to set that aside, and we're going to work on the filling. So for some of these flowers, we're going to stuff them. We're going to stuff them with a ricotta cheese filling. So what I've got here is about 1 pound of ricotta cheese, and I put it in a strainer overnight to strain out any of the excess water that it's holding. And I'll empty that right into the bowl. And to that, I'm going to add 1 egg yolk. So I'm going to strain the white out of here just as best I can. It doesn't have to be exact. I just like to have the yolk in there. It makes it nice and rich and helps to bind everything together. Come on, man. What are we doing here? There we go. 1 egg yolk. And once again, we're going to do a nice pinch of sea salt. Maybe 2. And we're going to do some white pepper. And again, we're going to hit it with some fresh grated Romano cheese. And with a spoon or a spatula or even an electric beater, you want to mix that up and you want to beat it until it's nice and smooth. And then we can taste for salt and pepper. And if you really wanted to get fancy, you can chop up prosciutto and put it in here, or some fresh mozzarella. But we're going to do them simple here, and then you can kind of adapt it to however you like. And I'm going to taste this with my finger because I'm the one eating it. All right, so Perfect. Okay, so the filling goes into a pastry bag. If you don't have a pastry bag, just use a Ziploc bag. You'll be able to cut the tip off just the same. And we're going to put the filling right into the bag. And like I said, we're going to take a scissor here and cut just the tip off the bag because it has to fit inside the flour. Now here comes the fun part. So we have to get the filling into the flour without breaking the flour. So the best way is to blow into the flour, open it up, and squeeze a little bit of that filling in there. And then just use the petals to kind of close it up. And you don't want to overfill them because if you overfill them, it'll spill out into the oil and it'll start to splatter and make a big giant mess. And it's a little dangerous too. So we're going to fill these flours. And you know, sometimes I like them plain as well. I actually prefer them plain, to be perfectly honest with you. But everybody else seems to like them stuffed. And like I said, you can play with the stuffing as much as you'd like. You can put different things in here. Notice I don't use parsley. The reason why I don't is because I just don't want the green flecks in there. It's kind of like the black of the black pepper. It's just a little OCD of me. So now we've got our flour stuffed. We've got our batter ready. And now we're going to heat up a pan of oil and we're going to get these babies fried. Okay, so now we've got a pan of neutral oil, nice and hot on the stove, about 350. Neutral, I mean like canola, vegetable. This happens to be sunflower. Maybe one day we'll talk about oils and my preferences, but something very neutral. Olive oil is going to be too strong and it's not going to be able to stay hot long enough. So what we're going to do is, this is why I like to leave this little stem on here, because then I can use that to dip right into the batter. It even breaks for the professionals, see? So we're going to take it out nice and gently, and we're going to lay it right in the pan. And those suckers are going to start to fry. And all we have to do is brown them on both sides. And by that time, the batter will be cooked. We'll cook them nice and brown. The cheese will be all nice and hot and melty. And they're going to take a couple of minutes per side. Now, I can say the first time you fill the pan up, it's going to take a little bit longer to brown. That's just kind of how it goes. But I don't know if you can see this, but the batter is going to start to rise a little bit, and they're going to start to get crispy, and then we will turn them over. And here we are. Here's our zucchini flowers, aka squash blossoms if you're fancy. And you'll see that they're nice and hot and the cheese has gotten melty inside. I don't know if you can see in there. And they are going to be just wonderful. Let's give it a taste. Perfect. They scream summer.